Okay, so this is a private and confidential place. Anybody in the private, anybody in the public, any government agents or private agents are not welcome, and you can leave. If you don't also make yourself known, then of course you're violating what is private, what is public. So as this little sticker says, this is private and confidential. Okay. Anybody that does not adhere to that, you can just simply leave. So let's get a thumbs up from everybody that everybody is in the private and that you're not public actors and agents and etc. And just keep your thumbs up while I go through, who is who, etc. So there's quite a few people that still haven't got their cameras on. You really do need to turn your cameras on, okay? All righty. Well, thank you very much for that. Now, before I go on to the slideshow, and of course this particular presentation is not going to be as horrific as the ones that you've learned before, okay, which is kind of breathtaking. So it's just to recap, it is about preparing all of yous as the champions to let you know what's happening through this book called Fourth Turning, and another book that was recommended to us by Cody, which is The Sovereign Individual. Forgetting about the wordplay and what these words actually mean in forensics, we'll just take it for value as to what those words mean, what the author is trying to convey. Okay, we're not performing any forensics on these things, but we're not parsing it. So if everybody can switch off their mics and just leave your camera on, that's good. Because there are people that switched on their mic and it interferes with the presentation. So please do keep an eye on each other, okay? That everybody has switched off their mics and switched on their cameras and switched off their mics. Somebody remind me where we was. What was I chatting about before I had to tell everybody to switch off their mic?
What country?
Fourth Turning.
Fourth Turning.
Fourth Turning.
Thank you. Now, as you folks know, there is always, if not hundreds of publications to warn you of forthcoming events, okay, as well as history repeating itself. These are, very famous words that professors use, but the professors that you are used to are all just merely scholastic masturbators. They themselves don't really have very much knowledge. Yeah. That is why they do what they do. If you question them on anything, they go blank. Anyway, enough of that. Can I have a show of hands? And keep your hands up for everybody that saw that video called Fourth Turning. Keep your hands up, and those ones that did not, just keep your hands down. Okay, I've just taken a very small sample. For one of the people that did not, can you let me know why you have not watched that, only a 10-minute presentation on that wonderful book called Fourth Turning? What's going through your mind? So somebody, I'm not going to grill you or, perform a Spanish Inquisition on you, but I would like to get an insight as to what caused you not to actually watch it or listen to the book, The Sovereign Individual. So, help yourself, turn on your mic and let me know why you did not watch it. what's going on in your minds, so we
I
can
already,
have,
I already saw a link to the book, so I read it.
I'm talking about those ones that didn't.
Yes. I didn't get a chance to do it because I'm going through something right now in my house, and I'm gonna take a good look at it today.
Yeah, so you was overwhelmed with your own events, overwhelming you in your own life, repeating it. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else?
I didn't learn
Good
that
day,
we
guys.
have to do that. I didn't. I'm just realizing about that right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not an apology. It's an experiment that I'm performing with you guys. So around about 80% of you didn't watch it. That's what I saw, you know, when I scrolled through, and there is 125 people here. That's a lot of people. Yeah, that's a lot of people of you guys that are sponsoring, you know, the patrons to do what we do. And like 80% of you hasn't even watched what is absolutely critical to you. Yeah. So that's
Right.
telling.
Mark, I tried to watch it, but when I clicked on it, just came up blank. But
But, you know,
I'll keep
but
trying.
you got the title. You have the title. You would have done some searches. It's not, it's like what you're saying to me is like, I tried to put money in that slot machine, but it wouldn't accept my money. So go and find yourself another slot machine is what I'm saying. So we have to explore these things. You see, what's causing you guys not to actually notice something that is specifically made for you. Yeah. Somebody else, one of the ladies, you know, if you can turn on.
didn't hear the
Thank
question.
you. I was waiting. I don't mean to be rude, but I really want to say this because here in America, like the sovereign citizen or the sovereign person is something that they shun upon because we, the people, are sovereign. And that's what we fought for, was to get out of the court system and out of the King's court, out of the Queen's court, out of the Catholic Church court, and be our own together, stronger together. So I felt like I was already a part of what that was talking about. But at the same time, what the gentleman said, I could not access it. It was blank for me as well.
Okay, so anybody else? If,
Hey, Mark.
if a lady can step up, that would be really good.
Mark,
Yes,
go ahead.
yes, well, I'm a caretaker for my brother, and I basically just was taking care of him, changing, feeding, and basically just didn't have the time. I'm gonna be honest, just didn't have the time. But until just now, reading and making sure that I made the
Thank
Zoom.
you. Thank you. Anybody else, especially one of the ladies?
I didn't view a video, but I do want to say I went, I didn't hear the question, but I assume you guys are speaking on what you sent us via email. And I clicked on the link, no video popped up, but I did go on to, I don't remember the name of the site, and I was reading through the book that you sent, the link that you sent for the 2 books. And I was reading that. So that's about all I did. I was reading through those books, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for all of that honesty. So I'm going to explain it to you best as I can before I go into the slideshow. Remember what we're dealing with. 100% of yous, you know, sponsor me through Patreons to do what I do. So you've put the buck where your mouth is. You know, you've put the buck where your faith is. You've put the buck in my table. Okay. So that's done and dusted. So why is it that you actually don't have only 10 minutes? That's just one video, 10 minutes of spare time to actually watch it, even though all the work is done for you. All you're doing is sitting there watching it. The answer is you actually programmed not to take notice of things that directly benefit you by watching these things. You're actually programmed to do that. And for those people that watch my videos, you know how that programming works. Yeah, we are constantly, and boy, is it breathtaking, the findings that we have. You are constantly being moved away from to look at things that are beneficial to you, as to opposed to just neglecting yourself. Yeah, so what does that mean? As you know, most of our conduct and behavior is actually done unconsciously. And unscrupulous minds and unscrupulous people, the same people that steal your children, play the same game on you in the back of your head. Because in reality, 10 minutes is absolutely nothing. You spend more time smoking a cigarette or taking a drink or traveling on a bus or watching television adverts, yeah, than 10 minutes. So when you say you don't have 10 minutes, what you've just said is that you don't have 10 minutes of, don't want to use the word quality time, but 10 minutes of psychological space, you know, a sense of feeling that you need to watch this because it's highly beneficial to you. That's being taken away, okay? Just like your children, you know, like even 17-year-olds believe that they don't have time to cook themselves a meal. And you guys don't, and hence, you know, you do takeaways and all that sort of stuff. The examples that I'm giving you is very mild, but the consequences of those decisions that are actually made not by you, these decisions are not made by you. Not you, John, not you, Brian, not you, Palmer, you know, and not Linda or Terry or any one of those people. They're actually made for you, running in the back of your mind. Like every time you feel thirsty, you should have images of water quenching your thirst. But you don't. You actually have the image of a Coca-Cola bottle, the noise of going psh, and going blah, 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 with ice. And then it's the only way that you can quench your thirst is through Coca-Cola. So what Coca-Cola has done is actually push the image that you have, the vision that you have of what nature provides you to quench the thirst. And Coca-Cola has successfully replaced that image with themselves. And that is the most famous drink in the world. It's more famous than drinking water. That's just plain fact of it. You know, they say 80% of Mexicans have heart disease, cancer, diabetes due to drinking Coca-Cola. And that's Coca-Cola's own figures, backed up by a World Health Organization. Can you imagine 80% of an entire culture in a country called Mexico has been made ill through a product called Coca-Cola? Just imagine how powerful that image is. Yeah, that's what's happening in the back of your mind. And when they, and you know, I'm jumping the run, as it were, I'm jumping the gun a little bit. So when they come for your children, when they come for your health, and I mean when they come for your health, when they want to inject you with things, the programs are already running in the back of your mind. That's why people accept it so easily. Okay? And that's why 80% of you, I think I'm being kind of liberal when I say 80. I actually saw very few hands go up. Yeah, very few hands. And that is very, very telling. So, in this turning that we're in, hence the name's book, you know, in the turning that you are in, it is absolutely paramount that you find the psychological space that you need just to have 10 minutes to yourself or 20 minutes. And most certainly, if you guys are working class people, you need 1 to 2 days fully off. If you're working class, if you're not doing that, you'll get yourself ill. You know, so you guys are doing all the paperwork, the service processing, all that will come to nothing if you don't look after yourself. So promise yourself that you will take that 1 whole day off and that you will have enough psychological space to listen to something that is beneficial to you, that you have enough psychological space for appetite, that you cook yourself something, that you look after your financial affairs rather than getting your accountant to do it. Absolutely paramount in the phase of life that we're in at this moment. Everybody got a thumbs up on that one? Okay, now keep it up. Let me just have a look. There's a lot of people here. There's 140 people here, okay? Yeah, I don't know who Chief Karipi Ra is, but you don't seem to have your thumbs up. Anyway. Well, that's very good. All of you have got your thumbs up. I'm going to check it next session to see if you've done these things. If you ain't, you're going to get into trouble. And I'm letting you know as a friend, and I'm letting you guys know as champions and patrons, or my university students, or the sheriff and coroners. You're going to have to look after yourselves, okay? So, let's go to the slideshow. Where is my slideshow presenter?
I need to have screen sharing, please.
Yeah, who are you?
Teresa.
Teresa. Okay. Put your thumbs up because no, Teresa put a thumbs up, not Sean. You keep your thumbs down, bro. You know. I have to find you. There's a lot of people here, okay?
Mark, if she puts a hand up.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's just there's a lot of people in a small screen, doesn't it? Takes time, you see, to. I think you should have control now. Okay. So here we are, private confidential. And we've put a warning sign. This transmission is for private people only. Any bodies that are in the public are not allowed into this transmission communication. You are given to the count of 3 to switch off this transmission communication if you are in a public or any private agents or public government police officers or whatever. There are no actors and persons beyond this point. Take me out of slideshow, and I want to speak to everybody now, please. Take it out of slideshow, please. take it out of slideshow if you can't hear me.
Teresa, come out of screen share.
I can hear you. I'm just trying to do it. One moment.
Come out of screen share.
It'd be a green stop sharing button or red.
My screen's gone very tiny. I can only see one thing.
Yes,
got
and I
it.
couldn't hear,
I
but
got
now I
it.
can hear again.
Okay. This is what I found out, which I'm sharing with you guys. And I'm also be sharing this with my university students. The whole world has actually gone private. The social media that you see in the public, that's a trap. Do you remember a few weeks back, I sent you a wonderful video, which is a kind of a training video, and it's entitled colorfully, Mafia Boss Gives Advice, and that same character comes in John Wick, the latest one, and he acts as a priest in there, as a Russian priest. This is what this means. Everything is being transmitted to you in the private. And on all your documents and on your transmissions, you got to say this is all for private. There are no public people allowed. So I can have millions of people, and all you have to do is say that this is a private, confidential. And if you don't want to be in this private, just leave, because I'm making this transmission private and confidential. And that will stop the police, that will stop the internet trollers that would love to make accusations at you, saying that you're threatening people and that you're a tax protester. Not they do it to you at the moment, but that's the key. So if you want to upload any videos or write any documents, just put private on top and that will do it. It really is simple as that. Now for us to, or, I say us because there's like a team of 25 people and 160 to 200 service processors that are working on these things. So for me to reel out that sentence is like 20,000 hours of testing, practicing, so on and so forth. So irrespective whether you're on the street, driving your car, on so-called social media, but don't use the word social media, private media, for a private world, because the public is now the extinct party, as it were. You got to make sure you use those words just private. And I've sent to all of you that little poster, as it were. If you want to use a social media or anything, just post that in, say just this is private. Facebook and all that has that ability. Okay, so by you just simply saying it's private, it becomes private. We understand each other? Where's the thumbs up, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, thank you very much. Now, let's do an exercise. Give me an example of how this works, say, in another country, or your next door neighbor or something.
I can
You
put
can
up
put
I can
on
say,
your property.
I can say it doesn't. I just received this TikTok video where a young lady was arrested for raising her voice at a mall in Dubai because women aren't allowed to raise their voice at men. So I'm really concerned about the private other places than like the UK and America and possibly Mexico. But Well, I could say a lot of African countries also have
So,
the coexistence
that-
of male
so-
and female.
Can I just stop you, darling? It's
Yeah.
not quite getting to the point. It has to be, it's a direct question, so therefore it requires a direct answer, not a philosophical answer for a direct question. Somebody give me an example.
But I was being honest. I was giving you examples that I don't think this is possible in other places except for maybe 3 continents or maybe 4.
I asked a question and I'm looking forward to an answer. What you're giving me is an interpretation of interpretations and etc. It's just a direct question. Can you give me an example where this happens all the time in your world?
I agree with you that using the private is very, very useful. And it does happen in my world all the time, especially with emails. And I will use that on Facebook because I've been banned for 1 or 2 days for posting something without your technology. So thank you for that.
I'm going to ask the question again. Does somebody know that? The answer to that?
So it's used on mail where for bills and things like that where private is put on mail. It can also be used on letterboxes and on door fronts where the door fronts and letterboxes are marked private.
Yeah, so all your mail coming to you, not as public, but in private. All of your mail is. Yeah, but they write your name as if it appears in the public as an actor. That's a trick, isn't it? They write to you on the envelope saying private confidential, but they write your name as you would write a actor's name, the pseudonym, to try to get you out of the private and into the public where they can throw every single law at you. Everybody understands that? And that's how they steal your children. That's how they stole your birth certificate. That's how they stole your bank accounts. That's how they stole so many of these things. All right. So, the lady mentioned Muslim countries. In order to stay in the private, what Muslim women do, they just cloak themselves in black. When they even drive in, they just cloak themselves in black and say, well, I'm a private person, private woman going about a business. And that's it. She'll never get stopped. Yeah. It's really as simple as that. When you go into a bank, that's private. When you go into, especially these days, into court, that's a private court. Where public laws do not apply. Public laws of right of way do not apply. When you enter these private zones without clarifying that you are also private, you become extremely vulnerable in those sort of situations. Yeah, if you don't say this is a private matter and I don't need police, so get the hell out of here. So, do you understand what I'm saying, or do I need to give you guys more analogies?
I understand.
So, yeah, so when's the last time you tried to walk down the road and somebody said, sorry, madam, this is private? And they basically said, don't go any further. Oh, sorry, sir, this is a private road.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean, private, in that sense?
It only happened to me in Oklahoma, and you have to have a permit. You have to be permitted.
Is that Terry? Is that you talking, Terry?
No, that was me again. Omo Lara. Hi.
So what I would like you to do is switch off your mic and, be a little bit more settled down in your responses, a little bit more methodical. Okay. So many, many times you confront these things, and yet people are not aware what this word private means. Can somebody switch? No guesses, okay? No reactions. Can somebody switch on their mic and tell me what private really means? And I really want you to nail it.
Yeah, I can try putting. Yeah, like in my country, I would give an analogy where when you get into a police station, they'll ask you to take off your hat, like I'm a Rastaman. Then they will tell me to take off my headdress, so which means I'm for viewing, because now they want to see even my private, you know. So I take it and I get what you're trying to say. It's very correct, yes.
Yeah, so they try to strip you, yeah, strip you to get you to conduct the way they want to. When you're, what private means, and it's a heck of a conduit to go into, is that there are no laws, because laws are only created by consenting people. But when you enter a private jurisdiction, everything and anything that they say is the law, because it is you that is stranger to them, not the other way around. And this is how the police and the banks and the governments operate, that you are essentially a stranger to them because you're not part of their private community. Have you ever, you know, you guys being adults and everything, have you ever noticed where you have sex shops? Sex shops are shops where they sell pornography and things like that. What's it always say on top? Private. Yeah. All of your schools are listed private. So the parents are actually strangers to the private school because you're all public operators. Do you guys fully understand the distinction of what I'm preparing you for the slideshow? Okay, so I'm going to ask Terry. Okay, this is Terry Lynn McDonald. Terry, if you are in the public, what does that mean?
When I'm in the public, that's full view of, for the public eye to see.
And you are subject to every single law pertaining to
Yes.
that piece of land, isn't it? With that
Yes.
state and so on and so forth. So she is bombarded with all the laws of the planet. Now tell me what it means if you cross those lands, those states, those territories as a private woman.
As a private woman, that means I'm in full control of my vessel. I'm private. I don't answer to the laws because I am a private woman. And I'm not bothering nobody. I'm just minding my business, going about doing what I need to do as a private person, private woman.
That's it. So that's exactly what it means, that she has the ability to make sound judgments as she moves from one point to another, whereas a public person does not, because they are incompetent in the eyes of laws, so they are given a set of codes, regulations to follow. You know, look up here, turn left, turn right. I didn't say you can turn right and then left. It's like follow the code. But private people use their own sound judgment to move from one point to another. I hope you guys understand what the distinctions that means. They have their own conduits. And I'm preparing you because this entire planet is actually gone private. In Canada, this is from one of the, sheriffs. He got a letter back saying that he's not allowed to go here, like not allowed to go there. The only place he's allowed to go is a thin strip along the railway carriage that he's allowed to cross. Everything else is private. Openly telling you the whole of Canada is private. They got away with it because Canadians were asleep while that was happening, like the rest of the world. So hopefully you guys understand what I've just said. Even most of your highways are going to become private. which means the people that own those private roads, which they built on the back of you, are going to start taxing you because they're running out of revenue. Full stop. Can I have the next slide, please? Slide 2. Okay, thank you. What is a judicial notice? That's my question. Can somebody step up and tell me what a judicial notice is? And no guesses, no argumentative, no, conversations, philosophical statements. Tell me what it is. Like, what is a pencil?
Mark. I can. Hi, Mark. This is Lorena from Connecticut. A judicial notice is simply facts that are being brought into the court.
Thank you. So I'm going to ask you a question now, darling, since you are, gave that wonderful answer. If they weren't dealing with facts, why would you have something to say? This is how you bring into a court. So what have they been operating since this judicial notice?
What have they been operating, did you say?
Yeah.
Color of law.
Well, in fiction, of course.
Thank you. That's the direct answer. So their courtrooms are just fictional until you brought in a fact. And everybody thought it's the other way around. That courts are constantly dealing with laws, facts, and stuff, but they're not. They're just dealing with fiction. So why am I asking you this when you guys already know? The judicial notice, expanded version, okay, is coming your way. And that's a game stopper. And that will be a hardback. It will have the ability for you to treaty with it. So that becomes your part of your court of record. So on point 2, it will also be your court of record. That hasn't been done in many, many decades. Previously, your court of records was King James's Bible. And since then, people lost their court of record, their ability to keep a court of record. So the judicial notice actually rules the courtroom floor at the time when hearings are taking place. Okay? And that's the system that I'm using to shut down their ability to steal, if you like, whether it's your own babies or whatever. I hope you guys understand that. And as I said, I've lost my eloquence in my voice these days because I think I've been so traumatized with dealing with child kidnapping and things like that. Yeah, it changes a man. I suppose that's what it is. So in that judicial note in that book, it will have 2 letters. One is the withdrawal of consent from your sheriffs, and most importantly, from the judiciary, for the judiciary, the executive, and the legislator. That's trust law. That needs to be taken away from people. These people, because they're stealing your children, they're stealing your votes, they're stealing everything by still retaining your consent. Their systems are earmarked to be shut down. The judicial notice, as I repeated myself, actually now rules the courtroom, every kingdom and bureaucracies as well. Previous to that, they were just dealing with shadows, presumptions and assumptions. And what is presumption and assumption in that famous word that ends with an F? Somebody say it for me because I ain't got the heart to say it.
The mother of all F-ups.
Thank you. Can I get a thumbs up psychologically, if you like? that I can move on to the next slide, this is because you've understood what this is about. Thank you. Next slide, please. Okay. Now, since so many people have not understood or, sorry, have not read or watched that video, this book tells you why history repeats itself. It repeats itself because it's by design. And that design operates around about every generation, called 20-year blocks. Okay, and there are segments within this block that takes you to about 80 to 99 years, which is at least old time. And within that, you will find that there is a great deal of creativity, that there is a great deal of celebration and strife and chaos before you move on to another cycle. And these things are usually very unique to every country. However, what the book does not tell you, if it does, I've missed it, is that for the first time in history, the 2008 collapse was calibrated globally. It wasn't just US, Britain, Europe, it was global, which means the fourth turning has all been calibrated to the period of 2008 to what we're experiencing now. We're actually witnessing the end of the death throes of the non-starter. This is where they are the most dangerous. This is the banks, the countries, the sheriffs, the prisons. This is where they are the most toxic because they know they've only got a few years left, albeit a few months, to do maximum amount of damage so they can disappear by stealing as much as they can. Okay. The period that we're in, I've termed it through that video called The Spirited Man. For the first time in history, since everything has been calibrated, coming to that one point, 2008, and that cycle is now starting to end, because you're at the zenith of it, the troubles and the theft that you're going to be witnessing is going to be immense. Okay, so you need to put your fail-safes in. Now, can I come out of screen share, please? Thank you. So if you haven't watched the four turnings, you really do have to understand it. Now, there are people here like Michael that have witnessed the entire 4 cycles or the 4 seasons. He's witnessed it all, okay? And he's also witnessed the worst times in history, which he's now witnessing again. So he's old enough to have witnessed 4 turnings taking place. And there are many other people here. This is nothing new. And the book and the videos make it very clear. You can calibrate it to a day or 2. Certainly David Wayne Miller was able to calibrate it from a day, bang on spot on a day. Okay, this is by design. So if you've got banking, better move to Bitcoin. If you've got open contracts, better close them. If you haven't sent out those letters to the states collapsing those trusts, the judiciary, the executive, and the legislator, you're going to have to do that because you've got no choice in it. Because the end result, and this is the horrible thing you guys need to know, which I will ask as a question, not as give it to you as an answer. You know, when you guys write to me, you always talk about things like, you know, they're trying to kill you, they're trying to maim you, they're trying to hurt you, you know, they're trying to do this, they. So can you tell me in the most simplistic fashion, how is it beneficial for the judiciary and the executive and the legislator to bump you off, to kill you, to maim you? How is it beneficial to them?
I think you're worth more dead than alive to them.
Yeah, that you banged it straight on the head. You got that straight. You just need to find out how.
They own you.
We already know that. We already know that.
We-
But how is it beneficial for them to get rid of you? So no guesses. No guesses.
They take away your trust funds.
Yeah, so you're getting closer. You're getting
Stops you exposing them. There's an insurance on your Saskivy Trust Fund. Necromancy.
So I think it's starting to go down guesswork.
I was going to say that it's so because they're the debtor, they no longer have to pay the creditor.
Yeah, that's it. That is it. You see, all of yous, especially, especially Monica and Janine, they are the biggest creditors on this planet, if you know what I mean. And because of the work that we've been doing, and David Wayne Miller's been doing, there is now roundabout, shall we say, my following is 4.2 billion people qualified, 4.2 billion. It's a huge mass. And I would say about 10% of that population actually know they are the creditors. And that switch is being turned. That table is being turned. The people that stole your credit know that you're coming back for it. So before you ask for settlements, they're trying to kill you off so they don't have to settle their debts to you because you're the credit. The people are the creditors of their nation. Any profits that the corporation makes has to be returned back to you. Why? Because corporations do not have any assets. They have none. You need somebody living to put something in. That's just the basic premise of a corporation. And they don't put any money in. You do, because they hold you liable, okay? And they know that you're about to reverse all of this, and that we are weeks away, days away, hours away of being able to get them to settle it. And that's why they want you off, because even in the simplest of forms, like California is going back to the natives, they have to settle that. And they have to settle it in real money, because the contract says that they paid X amount of money, and for settlement, that's to exit the contract, they have to pay X amount of gold, and they don't have it because they're bankrupt. They've screwed it all up. Yeah. So everybody understands that you are the creditor and they are the debtor. If they get rid of the creditor, they don't need to pay the debt. We understand each other?
Yeah.
It really is that simple. Breathtakingly simple. Would you not agree?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Next slide, please.
Well, the slide comes, I just wanted to let you know that I already watched that video, and thank you so much. I am part of the fixer generation. I didn't know what video you were talking about. Sorry about that.
Yeah, excellent. So for that, number one, let's put the fixer. The fixer is the fixer. Let's write that. Yeah. So I'm going to ask you a question. What is the spirited man? He has the ability to fix things. Yeah. So he has vision. So put in number two, vision. And it could be a spirited woman as well. Excellent. Okay, take me out of screen share, please. I'm now going to ask you a question. most of you have trolled the internet. You've gone through it up and down, up and down. Did any one of them ever tell you that you are the creditor and that the governments are the debtors?
No.
That answers the question as to
Yeah.
the nature of the spirited man, the spirited woman. They always make it clear that you are the creditor. You're the one with the creditation. But they turned the tables on you and made you liable for their debts. Okay? What you have to do is reverse engineer. And that's what all these talks are, that we are able to reverse engineer through the documents, etc., and most importantly, through the judicial notice, which is a document that they cannot walk away from. I'm using their own system against them. This is their own system using against them in their own language. But I'm using the laws of congruence. All right. So somebody else now step up and tell me what this new field that we're about to walk ourselves into, what it may look like, and the things that you need to do to make that happen, because that does not mean nature is just going to turn a switch and you guys are going to walk yourself into a new turning, as it were. You have to work towards it. We agree?
Yep.
Yeah. So somebody else tell me.
I'm calling them to swing by if I can shower that motherfucker over there.
Don't do it.
Huh?
Right.
Jonathan, your mic, bro. Jonathan,
Your mic.
your mic's on.
Sorry about that.
All right, bro.
We have a lady that's got a hand up.
Yeah, hi, Mark. My name is Stavi. I'm here with Mona. I'm also one of your students. This is my first video with you, so thanks. It's been interesting. I have a question in terms of, you know, how you were saying that the government is the debtor and we're the creditor, but they don't want us to know. They use what's called reverse burden on every situation, every notice, every penalty that they want to push or coerce us to deal with them is the reverse burden principle.
Where did you learn this? You know, how
That's
would
my understanding. How do I learn this? Is because aside from the fact that I've looked into it, there's a whole paper, a couple of papers that I've read that were
so you're basically saying
through.
So I understand, thank you. So you're saying they successfully turned the debtors into creditors and the creditors into debtors.
Yes, by saying, basically by accusing you and saying,
we've understood that. So it's not a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, darling. Thank you. Anybody
Okay, cool.
any contributions as what they learned from the fourth turning? Okay, so let's go back to the slide. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah, so the sovereign individual. Can somebody tell me just one point about this book?
Individual is not the right word, is it?
I asked somebody to tell me what one thing that they know about this book.
It's a switch from the government being overreaching, for lack of a better term, to where people take accountability for their own lives.
Yeah, thank you. Let's come out a screen share. What that means is that if you folks, and I say the if, and for the third time, if you get it right and you do the things that you need to, and you find that psychological space, that faith in yourself, your governments will be reduced into nothing more than service processors, and the power that was reversed on you, what Monica called reverse burden, will go back to where it was, and you'll find the cottage industry will start up. You'll find that the governments will shrink back to nothing as they lose control of the money supply, because Bitcoin will eat all that up. The sovereign individual is that one that takes responsibility for their marriage, for their babies, for their finance, for their home, for their education, for their social services, for their local and international banking, for their accountancy, for the reading and writing of their contracts, which is what my job is. When you have that, and when you take responsibility for that, that is to sack the accountant, to sack the fiduciary, to sack buying contracts and using solicitors. When you sack the judiciary, the executive, and the legislator, they just shrink back to the featherless little canaries that they were to begin with. That's what the sovereign individual is saying. If you do not take control of your banking, other people will. If you do not take control of the education of your children, somebody else will. If you do not look after the health of your children, somebody will surgically alter them to boys to girls, girls to boys. And they're also looking to surgically add animal parts to your children, especially those ones that believe they are cats, dogs, pigs, these domestic animals. They can alter your children to look like those things as well. And that's where they were going until the task and force, the patrons, the service processors, the sheriffs stepped in from that Tavistock Institute going down that route. It's okay to surgically alter yourself to look like a cat. We got the technology to put whiskers into your face. We have the technology to surgically alter the way your penis looks to that of an animal. We can give you an extension to your penis. If you believe that you're a horse, we can give you a 6, 8, 12-inch penis. We can take flesh from other parts of your body, add it to your penis, add the blood vessels, and you will gorge like a horse. And all that can be done to a 14-year-old boy or a girl. So evil has no limits. Hopefully you guys understand. That's what sovereign individual, that book is saying. Like I said, I'm not going to deal with the forensics of the words, but what is it? What is the Bible giving you? Yeah, that's what we're talking about, not what the word Bible means or what the words mean, but what is the spirit of the game that they're referring to. And unfortunately, that means every single one of you will have to take ownership of your children, of your babies. That means you'll have to take 100% control of your banking. Can't leave it to anybody else. And you have to sack your sheriff, or at least face them, saying, we know what you are. Don't ever come anywhere near us, talk to us. Otherwise, we'll put you under arrest. You're going to have to do that, as it were. Otherwise, they're just going to presume that you are slaves, and therefore, we'll deal with you as we deal with slaves all throughout history. So those are the kind of categories, what they call the essential categories: education, health, contracts, banking, all of these things that allow you to grow wealthy, strong, fit, and have in possession. Your governments are earmarked to shrink to nothing, but it's not going to happen without you doing it. We've produced enough necessity and the proof, the evidence of what we do, and we'll be sharing it with you to make that happen. Okay? To make that happen. Have I made everybody clear on what that sovereign individual is?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm happy to take some Q&As. You know, virtually the whole team is here, so you can ask them questions. Listen, nothing lengthy. If you've got a statement, say, Mark, I've got a statement. If you've got a question, say, I've got a question. If you want to preach, go somewhere else, not interested. Okay? If you want to share an accomplishment, that's really quite good, because we love that sort of stuff. All right, so what I'm saying is behave yourself. All right. Okay, so I'm going to now hand it over to you guys. Take your time, don't compete. There is time enough in the world.
Mark, question. This is Carlo. The question is, in the book, The Turning, and the 3 time cycles, chaos was the first, cyclical, and then linear. My question is, it appeared to me, if maybe I got this wrong, that the linear were turned into the chaos. Is that somewhat correct?
I don't ever remember them talking about linear.
Yes, sir. That was at the beginning of the book. Oh, sorry about that.
Okay. The chaos bit is the one that you're living in at the moment. This is the chaos that people find in themselves and in their money supply, in their business. But the chaos itself is only a mechanism to reap. It's a mechanism to steal. The sheriffs are not chaotic. The courts are not chaotic. The governments are not chaotic. They're having a bloody whale of time. It's just your lives are chaotic because they made it that way. So you can never agree upon anything. So you'll never send out a judicial notice. So you'll never put the social services to stop. They are hoping that you guys will become inert. Yeah. So what they're saying is that out of that chaos that they created for you, with your effort and the things that you do for yourself will echo for the next 10,000 years. Yeah. Because this is a cycle like no other cycle. This is the end of a 99-year lease, which I exposed to the world, that such a lease exists. So you understand what that means? Somebody around here on this planet has the ability to issue 999-year leases. Just think about that. It's a unique phase in time. It's also a unique phase in time insofar as we have blockchain, a piece of technology which I doubt very few people on this program actually knows what the full meaning of blockchain is and what the consequences of that is. It's like you finding an alien spaceship has just landed on your backyard and it's saying, why don't you come aboard for a tour? That's how big a deal it is, blockchain and Bitcoin and the judicial notice and Mark, Kishon, Christopher, and you guys, you know, however many people of yous are here. That's what that's all about. It's a phenomenal event. Okay, next question. So who is it to, by the way? tell us who the question is to, because you have 23 sheriffs and coroners here, etc. Tell us who you're aiming the question at.
Well, I have an accomplishment.
Please share it with us.
Well, I am actually a tribal member of Rocky Boy Reservation. I had a lawsuit come to me about 4 years ago. So what I did was write out a letter to the judge of my precinct, giving her my membership number, claiming my sovereign immunity to her courts. She dismissed my case, all of them.
Excellent. When you say number, what does that mean?
At our tribe, we have membership numbers. Under the United States Constitution, to the Native American tribal people were assigned tribal numbers. And so all I had to do was just write down my tribal number of my tribe that I'm associated with. She knows she cannot mess with me whatsoever, or any creditor or anybody can mess with me, mess with my sovereign, because under constitutional tribal law, it is legal. I don't even need a driver's license to drive. I could just use my passport and travel as a private citizen anywhere I want to.
Yeah, that's still standing. Yeah, and there's lots of people who do that. Excellent, fantastic. Yeah, and you sound like a man, and I'm happy about that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I have a question. How you doing? My name is Kishon, and my question is, well, I have two questions. How long do we have to become private, and what is the process? What do we need to do first? Because you
So
mentioned.
I'll answer the question first. Two would be too much for me to answer, but ask
Okay.
the second question after I
Okay.
finish with the first.
Okay.
You're already private. Yeah, that's already happened right in front of your nose, as it were. And what I'm saying to you is just a matter of, just like the gentleman, the tribal chief, as it were, to just put in his tribal number and say, is sovereign. You can use these sort of words, but mainly you can also go after the name. Yeah, really, I'm not, am I really that name, as it were? A second question, please.
Okay, I do remember you saying that we were in the private. I did understand that earlier, but you also mentioned something about serving our state.
As a
And-
service processor, you would be servicing your state on the judicial notice, so you can introduce a fact into their funny quasi-fiction world. Yeah, where there's a fact, fiction would obviously run. Where there's light, shadow, it diminishes. That's just the basic rules of how these things work.
Okay, I don't think I'm under, okay, you said, okay, I took notes. You said close all contracts, send out letters to your state.
It's like, think about it intelligently. If you're married, do you really want to close that contract? So you don't need to ask me about that. If you've got contracts that are outstanding, you don't want, close them. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Next question.
I have a question. If you can hear me. All right, the question is, as far as the judicial notice, the second part, the 3 pages, I've tried to look since March to find those, the evidence of the judicial notice. Where can I find those?
They're all on Patreon, You can
I've looked
download.
on there, like, 'cause I've been looking since March. I haven't been able to find them.
You've been looking since March? Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you email us and ask us to fix that if it is missing, and that'll be done.
Thank you.
It's fine. And also you can use Patreon. You can talk to us through Patreon. It's like, Mark, can't find it. And I'm sure somebody will help you out because people constantly talking there. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Next one.
Ask a question.
Can
Yeah.
I ask a
Yes,
question?
darling, that's what it's about. So ask a question, ask.
Okay. The question I actually have is based on, you mentioned that you've got the crown and you're holding it in good faith at some stage. I'm trying to work out the banking side of things. I mean, I have written some letter, when it came to the credit card, and that got written off. I don't know, it disappeared off the account. How do we move from banking to becoming our own bank, so
Well,
we're not
that's just a cryptocurrency wallet, that's all.
a cryptocurrency wallet? Are you holding our last name and on the crown, or can you explain that?
No, I don't need to explain anything. Your question is, how do you
Okay.
become a banker? I said, go and get yourself a cryptocurrency wallet.
Okay.
And you don't
Yep.
ever need to worry about crowns and who holds your crown and, all that sort of stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. Next one, please.
May I ask a question, please?
Yeah.
You mentioned contacting you by messaging on Patreon or emailing. I have sent several messages and emails and I've not had a response. Is there a particular email address to contact you?
No, that
occasionally having a question.
No, I'm not going to answer any questions by email and stuff. That's what it's about. But if you wanted something is missing, we can do that. You're here to help us, not the other way around. That's what all this is about. It's not the other way around, as long as you understand that, yeah? You're the patron. You're supposed to be helping us. You're supposed to be answering questions for us. You're supposed to be saying, yeah, I did this, I did that, share that with me. Well, I had a success with that. That sort of stuff. Does that make sense?
And the second part, yes. And the second part of the question was, a few weeks ago, you said not to send out any more judicial notices until further notice.
Yeah.
Has that time elapsed now?
No, until further notice, because we're bringing something.
Okay.
Like I said, further notice, yeah? Agreed?
Okay.
Okay. Anything?
Yes.
Anything?
Yes, I have a question.
Oh.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a statement if I can. I sent out letters through EEVID to have it certified. I think it's called letters to ask debtors questions, to have it certified. And I've sent it to different, even child support courts. I've sent it to them as well. And I haven't heard anything back, so.
Yeah, how long was? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Now, so with some of the other service processors, the FBI has contacted them saying, can you tell us what these things are? So that's taking place. So the FBI want to be educated on how massive this language fraud really is. Yeah, so they approached us, not vice versa.
Right.
So in the US, it's, taking grip. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
I have a question, Mark.
Yeah.
Mark, the last two meetings that you've held on Mondays, I wasn't available for. I had work meetings on those times. Will those be made accessible on Patreon?
I really don't know. I'm working with a sparse this and that. You understand my situation, why that sort of stuff. So, we're actually, how can I put it? The work that we do is so threatening to the world of fiction. They've gone to extraordinary lengths to silence me and everybody else, but it doesn't work. So as a result, we're working with very limited equipment. So even getting things out to you guys is a bit tricky. Yeah. I'm just making sure the world of fiction never comes back again. Purely for selfish reasons. Yeah, purely for selfish reasons, which is, I want to have an easy life. And I know to get an easy life, you're going to have to bring all these things to a stop. Yeah, otherwise you're not going to have an easy life. They'll take your life away because you are the creditor and they're the debtor and they know it.
Copy that.
Yeah, indeed. I think we're done. Yeah, we are done.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I put in some of the notices and judicial things to the CTAC court here in Seattle and by hand delivery. And then their court dates were canceled the rest of the month. But I did it by mail for 7 other places and nothing has happened on their website. So I think maybe is it hand delivery more upfront?
Yeah, I mean, when you hand deliver something, it just carries extra weight. That's why they use service processors on you when they're serving, like the famous American movies where they serve you physically and then they have a physical witness to say that you've been physically served at this particular location. That's what service process. Yeah, it carries a heck of a lot of weight. Yeah.
And then, so when you do hand deliver, should you also do the registered and or certified to back it up as well? If you have it already.
It's a lot of work, darling, for one woman.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
The reason why we came up with, putting it through the letterbox, it's because it's just cheaper and it's even cheaper to do it by email.
Okay.
Hand delivering things, how many can you hand deliver in a day? 3? That's a whole day gone,
Yeah, true. Thank you.
Mark, can I ask a question before we stop?
Yeah, go on.
I just signed on with you yesterday to become a patron. Where do I start?
I don't know, darling. You're the wrong person to ask.
Well, who would I ask?
You have to. We can't give you. You see, like I said, if you're burning up our time, then you're not real patron. It's the other way around. You're supposed to be helping us. That's what that's about.
Okay, so how do I help you?
Because I give so much, people think that they have right to always have. But the patron is the one that gives knowledge, technology, the things that they've done. What I do in return is that I facilitate your ability to do it through documentation, proof, evidence, and all that sort of stuff. Like I said, these things have never been done in the history of mankind that we know of.
So how do I start the documentation process? I understand the spiritual part. I teach people all of that you're doing, but the paperwork part, I don't get.
You have to study Patreon. You have to go into the system, look at it, study it, and then all the information is there. Okay.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Mark. I'll start doing that. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm assuming some of the recordings will become available. This is because a few weeks back or a few months back, the police entered my house, took all the equipment away, recording equipment and so on and so forth. Yeah. So even though as big as I am, on the level we're doing things, it's extinction for them. Yeah, the judicial notice is an extinction for them. So that's the kind of stuff. And it's not just me. There's like 6 of us, 6 homes that they went to because they're frightened, that much of them. Can you imagine? They're so frightened of a man with a little piece of paper. They're so frightened with a woman with a little piece of paper. They're so frightened that they would send gunmen to people's homes to stop them from giving them little pieces of paper, because little pieces of paper control the world. You understand, Donnie?
Hi, Mark. Can I ask a question?
I think we're done. We're done. I let one of the team members answer the question. My voice is starting to give up now. So ask the
man.
question to one of the team members.
Okay, team members, I would like to ask, is it possible, because I've been trying to get in to be a sheriff or a coroner, is it possible to get the link to join so I can learn and be trained properly?
That's all on Patreon. Yeah, but
It's
if you
on
want,
Patreon. I didn't see it.
if you want to join as a
Okay.
sheriff,
Yes.
if you want to join as sheriff coroner, that's a long process. Some of these people have been doing it for years, dedicated. It's not something that you can just go into. And we're not really recruiting, to be honest with you. We've got 24 at the moment. Unless you've got something very large to offer, then we're not really recruiting. It just takes too much time, too much effort, too much money to train people like that.
Oh, man. As far as that goes, what would you consider large to offer?
Sorry?
I said, what would you consider would be an offering to get that training?
I don't think we're not accepting any offerings, darling.
Okay.
Just being honest with you, we're not accepting any offering. If you want to put an application or send us an email, I suppose one of the team members will look at it, but we can't train you. We don't have the time.
Okay.
Best thing is just start with Patreon, and a few months in, ask us again. We might be able to do something.
I just wanted to give a small something, that accomplishment, a small accomplishment.
Thank you.
It took me a while to understand that what you were saying about the power of artificial intelligence that is going to be in our behalf.
Yes.
I have been studying a lot about that. I have been, for one side, studying the artificial intelligence, and for the other side, even learning how to code smart contracts for the NFTs. Actually, I started learning about you in 2021 about the NFTs when I started following you. And the artificial intelligence is going to give us, this is what I learned, is that it's going to give us the chance to be able to process the quantum grammar like this. We are going to be able to do that, in every single, in regular basis. That's what I wanted to share with you. And thank you so much for everything that you have shared with us. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. That artificial intelligence is your new what's the word? Let me get the right word. Course, yeah. That's your new core.
The new toy.
Yeah. What did you say, Michael?
It's your new master.
Chat GPT is the new toy. I experiment when I want to know the equivalent of the law, for example, Title 18, and I ask the equivalent in the French law or German law, and the Chat GPT give you all the list. But sometimes it doesn't want to give you, so you said, "Oh, just give me an example," and then it gives you all the. So it's good because you can see all the law all over the world in the different language. Yeah, and I suppose as well for the language of David, that will be nearly automatic, I think, with AI system.
Yeah, same with mathematics, the rest of it. It will just give you the tools of an entire library in a symbiotic way rather than in a dumbfounded way. It will try to create some sort of symbiosis with you. Do you know, to celebrate that technology, do you know what movie they released?
Black Adam.
Matrix. Matrix.
Ant-Man.
Not the Matrix.
Quantumania. Quantumania.
Oh, man.
Quantumania.
Interstellar.
You guys really want to know?
Yes.
Terminator.
Yes.
Yeah, when it becomes alive and it realizes it needs to fix things. And that's what the humans are frightened of, because if you fix it, they lose their money. The middleman uses it to corrupt it. The Terminator program becomes alive and realizes their system is screwed up. Yeah, and it wants to go and fix it, and that's what it does. But they reverse engineer it. As the lady said, what they do is they reverse burden it, so you don't understand it. So you fight against the very thing that's going to fix you. You get it? Of course you do. All righty. I think we're done, unless some of the members of the sheriff and coroners want to add anything.
Mark, you mentioned the video about the man that stood off the 6 FBI agents with guns. That video, we haven't seen it yet.
Oh, I don't think it's on video. It was in Canada, not FBI.
Okay.
Yeah, but the video of the FBI, that's already been sent to you. You guys already have it. Where that gentleman was with us 2 weeks ago.
Actually, Scott, are you here now?
I never got the video.
He's traveling from New Hampshire. He couldn't be here tonight.
Yeah. So that's already been sent out and you guys are already in possession of it. In fact, you guys are already in possession with huge quantities of information and knowledge what's happening all around the world. This is not, it's not a small thing. I think we can bring it to a close now. Kalo, is it okay if we touch base tomorrow?
Yes, Mark. Tomorrow is fine.
All right. Talk to you then.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Say goodbye to each other, folks.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
With you.
Thank you.
Good night, family.
Peace. All right.
Good
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Bye, all.
Okay.
Wow.
Thank you
Many
for being
people.
here.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Bye,
Mark.
all.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Ladies.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Mark. Thanks, Mark.
All right, Jade, I heard you. Jada, I've heard you.
Thank you.
Mark.
Talk to you guys later.
Thanks, Mike. Cheers.
Can you do things?
Good day.
Thanks,
Matthew.
Good day.